You've built the empire. You've closed the deals. You've reached the pinnacle of success. And yet, something's missing. The cars, the homes, the accolades. They were supposed to bring fulfillment. But late at night, when the world is quiet, there's a question that lingers in your mind. Is this all there is? Napoleon Hill gave the world Think and Grow Rich, a blueprint for wealth, achievement, and power. But in his final years, he uncovered something more, a deeper truth, a greater wealth, a path to true success, peace of mind. Now, for the first time, we invite you on a journey beyond material riches, beyond worldly achievements, to a life of clarity, purpose, and unshakable inner peace. Join us, reclaim your peace, and discover the one thing money can't buy. Think and grow rich with peace of mind.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the Napoleon Hill Institute's live event, Think and Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. My name is Carla Elizondo. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a mindset coach, and a principal teacher here at the Napoleon Hill Institute. And we are so happy to have you here for day 4. If you have not seen the previous days, or if you're just catching this today, be sure to check out the replays and be sure to sign up and register so that you can access the replays after they come down from the public view on the YouTube channel. We also are offering, this is a wonderful bonus, 14 days. It's 2 free weeks of our exclusive program. It's called the Self-Discipline Camp. And we'll have something pop up on the screen quickly, and we'll put a link in the chat so that you can go to the website, napoleonhillinstitute.com, under programs. It's a drop down, and you can take advantage of that offer. Here it is right here on the screen. So go ahead and click that or take a photo of that QR code, and it'll take you directly to that checkout so you can enjoy the 14 days of the Self-Discipline Camp absolutely free. It has changed people's lives quite literally. And that's kind of what our event is about right now. It's about peace of mind. We all know that we can achieve the 6, 7, even 8 figures, right? Professionals, you're good at what you do. You've gotten the home, you've raised the kids, or maybe you're doing that now. But do you feel fulfilled? Do you have peace of mind? Do you feel burned out? I find that especially in the therapeutic world. I was around very successful therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. And although we're doing work that we love, that fulfills us, there was something missing. And if we could sum it up in one word, it was peace of mind. I was so grateful that I had such a blossoming, blooming practice, a wait list out the door, but there's only 8 hours in a workday. And when I was getting up, and right when I got up, I was filled with adrenaline, filled with cortisol, looking at the busy schedule. I said, this is not a way to live. Is this how I'm going to live until I, quote, retire? That wasn't the way I would like to live. Or other people I know that are very successful in their marketing, their social selling, their real estate business. Is all of that really worth the money, the monetary riches? Well, we're super lucky and blessed to have Napoleon Hill's philosophy and principles. He talks about the 12 riches of life. You know, the monetary riches are one of the last riches of life. Peace of mind is one of the first ones. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So it is my honor and pleasure to be with you here today. I'm going to speak for a little bit, and then I'm going to have Cliona, the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Institute, Cliona O'Hara, come up, and she's going to share something very special with you, so you do not want to miss it. All right. Again, some of you know my story. I have personally had such a passion for personal development, psychology, philosophy, even theology. But mental health has been something that has been quite the journey, and I'm sure you can relate in some sort of way. If you haven't personally dealt with it, perhaps you know someone who has. I used to experience anxiety, depression, even addiction. I used to use alcohol to cope. On the outside, nobody would have ever thought that I had a problem. And still to today, people say, oh, Carla, it wasn't that big of a deal. You can't just have a glass of wine. But I know myself. I know my system. I know what makes me feel alive. And even if it was that one glass of wine, it really shut me down and increased my anxiety. And studies show that alcohol is not only a depressant, but it is like pouring gasoline on the fire of our anxiety. And I did not know that. So once I started really studying and learning and making big decisions that were not comfortable in my life, I started to gain more peace of mind. And to me, that's everything. Nothing is worth my peace of mind. I don't care how big the paycheck is. I don't care how many famous people are there. My peace of mind is not for sale. Our chairman, David Meltzer, talks a lot about non-negotiables. What's non-negotiable for you? Do you protect your peace of mind? Do you have emotional boundaries? There's a term I like to use, emotional sobriety. Many of you may not resonate with any physical addiction. Maybe you've never smoked cigarettes. Maybe you've never misused alcohol or drugs even. But our body, our brain, is the first and most potent, powerful pharmacy that we are exposed to. We have hormones, chemicals that are bathing our body 24/7 that make it run, yes, and give us signals, right? Biofeedback. But what triggers those chemicals? Our neurons to fire and wire together, to trigger those neuro pathways and those neurotransmitters, to release those hormones, our dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, cortisol, adrenaline, all of that stuff. Of course, it's our environment and our circumstances, but the majority of it is our thoughts. It's our mind. And I have certainly fallen prey to getting into ruminating thoughts over and over, anxious thoughts, worried thoughts, just pumping my system full of cortisol, of adrenaline. And studies show that we can inherit our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors through epigenetics, their wiring, the way that they, if they were in survival mode, or they lived in poverty, or they've been through a traumatic experience, we can inherit those patterns. It's called a baseline. What's your baseline? If on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 was completely calm and peaceful, and 10 was absolutely anxious, an anxious mess, what's your baseline? We can all be in between, and we all do experience that through life. But where do we hang out usually? I would say that I was around a 7. I was pretty high up there. And then I would flop up to a 10. It would be very rare that I would get below 5. And my constant use of, alcohol would keep me there on a higher level. So I want you to just think about yourself. I'm going to share some slides with you, and we're going to go through this together. I'm going to go through it pretty quick. All right. So emotional sobriety. What does that mean? We know what physical sobriety means when somebody quits a habit, a chemical dependency, whether it be nicotine, even caffeine, right? We can be addicted to caffeine. Of course, alcohol, or even social media. We get that dopamine hit. Gambling is another. There's other ones as well. But when we're addicted to something, we're dependent on the chemical that it releases in our body, or the synthetic chemical that we are ingesting and taking into our body. It's a chemical dependency. But we are all chemically dependent on our own system, hormones, and, all of the things that get bathed again into our body. We have chemicals that get released every thought we have. So your mind produces the thoughts which trigger the brain. And the brain is that pharmaceutical storehouse that then sends the signals to our body. What are we going to feel? What do we need to do next? Do we need to run, or do we need to lay down and digest our food? So again, we think a thought, then it goes into our brain. Wires are fired in the brain, which then send signals down neural pathways, causing a release of chemicals in our body. So your body can become addicted to certain emotions. Your body can become addicted to certain emotions. We can get addicted, like we just want that hit Food is a very common one. How do you feel when I joke, and I'm very honest here, like I love chips. I love chips, particularly Cool Ranch Doritos. Don't judge me. And I think that that is the tastiest mix of seasonings in the entire world. And I do get this hit, this rush when I eat those. And there have been times that I will think that the next chip will have more seasoning on it and I just won't stop. And then I feel sick. Can anybody relate? I'm here to be honest, y'all. So we can become addicted consciously or unconsciously to our emotions. Mostly it's not conscious. You could say, Carla, I don't want to feel this way. Come on. This is not to beat ourselves up. But we are addicted to certain emotions because we're addicted to certain thoughts, beliefs, and narratives. We tell ourselves the same story over and over and over. And it could be good, it could be bad. So, classic cognitive behavioral therapy, many of you might have heard this, CBT. It states that we think, we feel, we act, which cause our results in life. So, that's a basic formula. I think, I feel, I act, and then I get certain results. And this is a visual representation starting at the top. We think, we feel, we act, and then we find ourselves in certain situations. Most people start with the situation, that blue thumbs down. I call it a womp womp situation where it doesn't go the way we want. And so we are addicted to our circumstance. We're addicted to the situations and what's going on in this world outside of us, in our lives, in other people's lives. We love to know what's going on in other people's lives. That's another addiction, right? Gossip, needing to know what, Tom, Dick, and Harry are doing. Why that's any of our business, we don't know, but it feels good to kind of get the dirty laundry of people, right? That's what reality TV shows are based on, many social media channels. And so it just makes us feel what? Powerful, excited. It's interesting, right? I had a client I worked with. She was addicted to gossip. Oh my goodness. She could not stop. And she started to do this work and she realized that's not who she wanted to be. It was affecting her self-image. She felt really guilty and started beating herself up. So what you think creates the way you feel, period. What you think creates the way you feel. Your feelings are your attraction point. Please hear me when I say this. The way you feel predominantly, where you stay, where you dwell, where you frequently frequent, right? And we're going to talk about that. What you feel frequently becomes your frequency. It's like a floor on a building. What feelings do you frequently feel? What's your predominant mood? Again, what's your baseline? Is it meh? Is it, wow, I'm so grateful? Or is it, I'm really upset. Life is just, I can't figure this thing out, right? Is it empowerment? Is it disempowerment? Is it discouragement? What are you feeling predominantly? Your feelings are your attraction point. You're an electromagnetic being. You are an just like a battery. Think of yourself as a supercomputer. Your thoughts are electric and your feelings are magnetic. I was teaching a class last night in our group coaching, and we were talking about the EEGs, the electroencephalogram. Pardon me if I'm saying that wrong, but that's when you hook up the machine and to read the brain waves and the kind of, it looks like little electrical currents going off in the brain. Noticing people's thought patterns. Your thoughts are electric. Then your feelings are magnetic. So think of your heart as a magnet. What you put out, the thoughts you put out, that electrical current goes out and it brings back to you similar currents, similar situations, similar feelings, similar emotions. So I want you to think of your heart as a big magnet. And again, this is not to beat ourselves up if we find ourselves in a bad situation or we're upset or we're grieving. We're human. Every human emotion is valid. This is not to say you have to be, totally elated and happy and skipping and jumping. 24/7? Absolutely not. But when you do find yourself in a lower basement, as I like to say, how do you get yourself out of it? Do you even know you can? Do you even want to? So, as we saw in the previous slide where it said the cognitive behavioral therapy, we think, we feel, we act, and we get results. Many of you are familiar with Dr. Thurman Fleet's stick model, the mind model. This is really how I like to describe it. We think, we feel, we vibrate, and we attract. So instead of thinking, feeling, acting, and getting results, I want you to really see this in your life. You think, you feel, you vibrate, and then you attract. So your emotional state will dictate your vibration. How you feel, your emotional state where you dwell, will dictate your vibration. These I like to always share. These 5 very insidious emotions and vibrations that we can find ourselves on very unconsciously. Judgments, criticisms, resentments, grievances, and grudges. These are the most dangerous, poisonous, sabotaging emotions and thoughts that we can get ourselves involved in. And we all have them. The first 2, the judgments and criticisms, usually are about ourself and others, right? But ourself, very sneakily, judging ourselves, criticizing ourselves, putting ourselves down, being unkind. Resentments, grievances, and grudges usually are towards other people, even if they're slight. The person didn't put their blinker on, or somebody just straight up wrote a very rude email to you without considering, the situation. Resentments, grievances, and grudges. That's why even with Dr. Joe Vitale, our president here, we're really big on Ho'oponopono, the forgiveness, letting go, releasing. And this is not for the faint of heart, the work that we do. The releasing, the letting go, the forgiving. It's not easy. So I want to go over this chemical process. 90 seconds when we talk about being dependent on our emotional stories, our narratives, the hits we get, the cortisol, the stress. I used to work in the production industry. My very first job out of my undergrad, I worked for a production company and I was on a big studio lot. And, the creed was if something could go wrong, it will go wrong. They call it Murphy's Law. And we worked 18-hour days and it was a crazy production set of a TV show and everybody was running around fueled on coffee. And it was like, oh, whoa, and it was absolute controlled chaos, right? Some people are wired for that and we need people that can operate like that, but some people aren't. And so me personally, I can do that for short periods of time, right? We used to do shows for like 6 weeks at a time and then you would get rest. But if this is your constant way of being, it's unsustainable. Your nervous system will quite literally break down. So 90 seconds, according to Harvard brain scientist Jill Bolte Taylor, emotions last 90 seconds or the length of a chemical process in the body, which we discussed. After the 90 seconds, the remaining emotional response is the result of a person choosing to stay in that emotional loop. That second part right there, I feel attacked. It's like, what? If I experience an emotion for more than 90 seconds, it's me choosing to stay in that emotional loop? Well, now I understand that. And I'm not hard on myself. I don't beat myself up for it, but I recognize it. I say, Carla, Carla, what do you want right now? Do you want peace or do you want to stay in this? Because it doesn't feel good. I find myself getting more, I'm like allergic to anger and pain and discord. I cannot handle it. My system can't. I know too much now. So don't identify with your emotions when they come and they hit and that 90 seconds is the clock is ticking. Just breathe through it. They're going to go away. They're as fleeting as clouds. So do not take them as permanent situations. Don't take them so serious. And this is coming from a therapist. Do not take your emotions seriously. pay attention to them, validate them, reverse engineer them. Why am I feeling this way? What is happening? What am I thinking about what's happening? But do not take them as something you're going to anchor in and hold on to. And many of us do that. We double down on our anger, our righteous anger. And it gets us into big trouble. So our emotions are just feedback as to what we are thinking. Your emotions are feedback to what you're thinking. They're just an effect. The thoughts are the cause. So I want you to think about your life right now. What thoughts are you emotionally involved with? I want you to really think about your personal life. You woke up this morning, you live in a place, right? A home, an apartment. Maybe you share dwellings with other people. Maybe you have a family and kids, or it doesn't, maybe you live alone. But how do you feel? What are your thoughts about the place you live? What are your thoughts about the way you sleep? What are your thoughts about the breakfast you ate, the food choices you've been making today so far? What are your thoughts about it? What are your thoughts about your physical body when you look yourself in the mirror? What are your thoughts about what you do for a living, how you earn your income? What are your thoughts about your relationships in your life, your loved ones, your spouse, your children, your family, your coworkers, your boss? What are your thoughts about your employees? What are your thoughts about everything? So don't argue with any emotion that comes up. Go straight to the source, your thought. So just as you become aware of how you are feeling, the emotions that are being held in the beautiful container of your body, what thoughts are keeping those emotions alive? Perhaps they might be pretty good, but there's always better. There's always better. So it all starts with thought. You must begin to regulate your thoughts. Regulating your thoughts. If you want to regulate your emotions, you must first regulate your thoughts. So a lot of people I work with say, I just want to feel better. I don't feel good right now. My emotions are everywhere. I feel chaotic. I can't control myself. I react. I don't respond. I want to feel more regulated. My emotions. I want more emotional regulation. Well, if you want emotional regulation, you have to first regulate your thoughts. And it's not controlling your thoughts, it's regulating your thoughts. Okay, we cannot control all the thoughts that come into our mind. So, regulation, what does that word mean? I love a good definition. Regulation means a rule or directive made and maintained by an authority. So, a rule or directive made and maintained by an authority. You must become the authority of your inner world. You must become the authority. The only thing that you can control is what thoughts you allow yourself to become emotionally involved with. You cannot control people outside of you. You cannot control your coworkers. You cannot even control your children, right? You can only control the thoughts that you allow to yourself to become emotionally involved with about your coworkers, about your family, about your children. Truly. And then they pick up on that. Ooh, kids especially. I used to work with children, and I'll tell you what, they knew what the teachers thought of them. I worked at a school, and the teachers would say, gosh, that kid just, because I was the therapist to them, and we would work together. And the teachers, when we had our meetings about the progress of the child, would say, gosh, that kid just doesn't listen. And I would just look at the teacher and think, that kid knows that you do not like that kid. That you don't like him. Why would he behave? Why would that kid like you or trust you or open up to you? You hate the kid. The kid annoys you and the kid knows it. The kid might not know that exactly, but kids pick up. And as adults, as we get older and we're more attuned to our intuition, we know when other people don't like us. We know when someone's upset with us. We know when someone loves us. We know when someone likes us. We live in an age of transparency. We cannot hide our emotions anymore. We are far too evolved. So the only thing that we can control is the thoughts that we allow ourselves to become emotionally involved with. So we need emotional boundaries. We all know what physical boundaries are. If somebody comes into my bubble space, get out of my space, especially if it's a stranger. What if we were eating at a cafe and stranger just walked right up and started eating off of your plate? You would say, "Excuse me," right? What are you doing? We're really good with physical boundaries. We will push someone out of our way or step back to create that space of physical boundaries. But what about emotional boundaries? What about when a thought creeps in that is intrusive? Treating it like an intruder and saying, "Oh," stepping back or pushing it away is how we must respond. It's an intruder, it's an attacker, and it'll take you down if you do not get serious about emotional boundaries. This is my favorite slide that I've ever made. Any Lord of the Rings fans, right? Gandalf, "You shall not pass." When we have a negative thought, it will not go into my subconscious mind. No, thank you. Not today. Napoleon Hill wrote a whole book about it called Outwitting the Devil. There's a chapter in Think and Grow Rich called Outwitting the Six Ghosts of Fear. Criticism, old age, poverty, all of these negative thoughts, Napoleon Hill realized if you allow those to creep into your subconscious mind, into your heart of hearts, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you are allowing those thoughts, whether they be from you, your family, how you were raised, or the outside world, social media, the news, we don't stand a chance. You might consciously be aware, I don't believe that, but you don't know how powerful your subconscious mind is. It just soaks in. When you allow those seeds to fall and get emotionally involved in any way with anything, it will take root and it will produce a harvest in your life. So have boundaries. When a thought comes in, you shall not pass. All right, 60,000 thoughts. So research, according to this Fred Luskin from Stanford University, it's a human being can have around 60,000 thoughts per day. Other studies say between 60,000 and 100,000. Can you believe that? So, but basic kind of standard is 60,000 thoughts per day, average rather. And 90% of these are repetitive. So let's just say we have 60,000 thoughts a day. You're going to have 60,000 thoughts a day. Maybe you're already halfway through your day. Maybe you have 30,000 thoughts to go. 90% of these are repetitive. And another study from the National Science Foundation states that 80% of our thoughts are negative. And this study shows 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. So let's really think about that. 60,000 thoughts a day, 80% of those which are negative, and 90% which are repetitive. That should really wake anybody up. It sure did for me. And I have to remind myself of this every single day. I have 90% of the circus show of the record going on and on, the ticker tape, and it's 80% negative. I am not an exception to the rule. I sure would like to think I was. I used to think I was until, as David Meltzer says, if you ain't humble, you're about to be. Oh, I sure got a slice of humble pie, let me tell you what. And you're the same. We are not an exception to the rule, although there's a part of us that thinks we are. I'm sure you're successful. I'm sure that you have it. We have some sort of formula to success. Me too. When I realized I had anxiety and depression and addiction, I was making six figures. I was successful. But I had to be honest with myself and say, something's not working. I am not at peace. So take inventory of yourself. I want you to take inventory of yourself. Are you in the basement or are you in the penthouse? This concept right here helped me finally understand my emotions, my vibration, and what people call frequency, especially in the manifestation world. It used to drive me insane. I didn't understand vibration, frequency. What do you mean? So I want you to just picture yourself as this building. Do you like this? This is my award-winning drawing on my iPad. Okay. Picture yourself as a building. There's an emotional basement and an emotional penthouse and everywhere in between. Okay. And every single floor represents a frequency. So that's how I remember it. Floor starts with F, frequency starts with F. So I just like to think of each floor in my inner building, right, metaphorically, as representing a frequency. So what floor am I on? What frequency am I on? Depending on my frequency, I'm going to get a certain view. I'm going to meet certain people. Each floor has a very different feel. Every frequency that we're on is like a floor of a building. And each of the floors has a unique vibe, right? A feeling or a vibration. So I used those little squiggle lines, just like when they do EEGs, to represent the cycle, right, of each vibration, right? Each how something vibrates and the speed of it dictates the frequency. Just like a radio station, how we tune into different frequencies on a radio. So each floor, each frequency has a unique vibe or vibration or feeling. Just like when you're in a hotel and they go, "Oh, on the 10th floor there is the fine dining restaurant, and on the 3rd floor there is the family restaurant for children." When you go in the elevator, bing, and the doors open to floor 3 and there's a bunch of kids running around, that's a very particular vibe. If you have a family with kids, you're gonna love that vibe. It's your frequency. It's the frequency you're on. Yeah, my kids can play with other kids. But if you are single, I'll be like, close these doors. Take me to level 5 right now. Ding dong. I do not want to be on this vibration with a bunch of kids running around. I want the fine dining. Thank you so much. Right? And nothing's good or bad, right? It doesn't make anybody better. It's just we're going through different stages of life. We're on different frequencies and different vibrations. But the thing is you can choose yours. Don't compare yours with other people. So we are on a certain floor or frequency. Some of you might be familiar with Dr. David Hawkins' book when he talks about the different consciousness levels, this power versus force. This book is quite dense. But he talks about it. So think about that building, right? The lower levels are kind of the lower, heavier thoughts, anger, pride, shame, grief. And then the higher levels or the penthouse levels are the peace, the joy, the love. So every thought you have vibrates at a certain frequency. Every single thought you have vibrates at a certain frequency. And your vibration will determine your money and abundance, love and relationships, career and purpose, your health, mental, physical, and emotional. So your vibration will determine all of these things. So if you find yourself in a basement, right? How do you get up? You want to get up, at least like let's go a few levels up. I'm not going to go from the basement to the penthouse. You can, but that can create a lot of resistance. But how do I just get one level up? What's one higher thought above this? Right now, my thoughts are garbage. Right now, my thoughts are of anger, of rage, of resentment, of grievance. What's one thought above this? How can I just flip? If I'm on floor frequency 4, how can I flip up to 5? Just think of a higher thought. What's a higher thought? So these lines represent different frequencies available, and they're all connected to the one above and the one below. If we find ourselves here, right, this can be an emotional basement of somebody, and this can be an emotional basement of somebody. The bottom ones represent somebody's, experience, and the higher ones can. But how can we go up with one thought? We can also go down with one thought. So be careful who you surround yourself with. You're just one thought away from a higher vibration. You are one thought away from a higher vibration. That has saved my life. I can't tell you how many times. When I am at my lowest low or something happened and I'm shook and I'm thrown off my center and Gandalf could not guard me and I let something in because I'm human. I ask myself, what is one higher thought than how I'm thinking now? What's another perspective? So you're just one thought away from a completely different life, not just a completely different frequency and vibration. You're one thought away from a completely different life. And each floor, as we continue to rise in our emotional floors, right? It's more expensive than the one below it. Just like a real hotel. The penthouse and the, garden view is way more expensive than the basement view floor level. And so how do we get up to that penthouse? How do we, in an emotional penthouse, be at peace the majority of the time? Remember, no one is going to stay permanently in a penthouse. We will go up and down and move around in our emotional building as a normal human being. But where do we dwell primarily? That's what I'm saying here. The price to get up to that penthouse is awareness. The price for emotional peace and peace of mind is awareness. And when you become more aware and you change your thoughts, your vibration, your floor, right? You might leave some people behind. Some people in your life, even family, they might prefer floor 5, but you want to get up to floor 7. And subconsciously, or maybe even consciously, if you leave, they're not going to come with you emotionally, right? Or maybe physically, to be honest. And we're afraid of that. And so when we change our life changes. I can't tell you how many times, and I know many therapists, coaches, executive consultants can attest to this. When we're working with clients and they want to change and they're desperate, and we tell them what they have to do, and then we don't hear from them again because they know what they have to do and they don't want to do it because it's going to be very uncomfortable. That was me. I denied when I was coaching, or when I was getting coached, rather. I still get coached, but I knew what I had to do and I did not want to do it. I did not want to get uncomfortable. I did not want to face the consequences of the thoughts that I had been thinking and the results that it had been creating in my life. Oh, it was so scary. I was so resistant. But I'm so glad I made that decision. I'm so glad that I opened up and I was willing to see things differently, and I was willing to be coachable and listen to advice from people that I really admired and who had results that I wanted, because I wasn't where I wanted to be. So your thoughts are currency. Each thought is an investment. So what's your return on your investment? What's your ROI? Are you investing in your thoughts? Do you pray for people? Do you send people good, positive thoughts? Do you send them well wishes texts, or hope that their kids are doing well, or check in with people? Do you check in with yourself? Do you forgive yourself? What kind of thoughts do you have? And what kind of return are you getting on the investment of the thoughts that you continually put in to that precious emotional bank of yours? I want you to start asking yourself, can I afford this thought? What is this thought costing me? Are you in debt? Are you in emotional debt? Many of you listening are not in financial debt. You're successful to some degree. But if you're not at peace, you might be emotionally bankrupt. You have no peace. It's just chaos, dysregulation. It's most likely because you've been investing, and remember, it's probably unconscious. You were taught it by your mother, by your father, by your work environment, the hustle and the grind. You've been bankrupt of the peace to enjoy all of your beautiful success. So I want you to think about your mental diet. What kind of conversations are you having? What kind of music are you listening to? What kind of social media accounts? What kind of blogs and journals do you read? What kind of movies and TV shows do you watch? What are you putting into that precious, precious mind of yours? What kind of energy? What kind of thoughts? What are you investing in emotionally? So don't be fooled by the power of your subconscious mind. It's always listening. You might not think that series that you're watching. I have a family member, I will not call them out, but they watch the it's like a CSI, like a crime investigation, show. And every time, like if ever I hear or on over the phone, I'm like, what is in the background? What are you watching? you know? And again, some people have different tolerance levels for that type of negativity. Some people find it very, very interesting, right? That's beautiful, not to judge. But be honest with yourself. How is it really affecting you? Does it make you fearful? Like, and I think this person was really into it. And then I said, oh, I'm going to go for a walk at the park. Like, be careful. Don't get, be careful of your surroundings. And I was like, oh, Lord, of course, always be careful of your surroundings. Don't be a ding dong. But because they've been watching this material, now they're hyper vigilant and thinking that everyone's going to rob them. And we all know those people who send off the blogs and the Facebook posts of all the, brimstone and fire and terror, which of course, I'm not denying that there's evil and bad things happening in the world. But do we have to pump it 24/7? I'm not going to repost it on my wall. No, thank you. So burn the boats to low vibrational thoughts. Napoleon Hill, in the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich, Burning Desire, he talks about burning the boats. How bad do you want peace? How bad do you want order in your life? Make a decision. Burn the boats. No more low vibes. No more low basement thoughts, basement people, basement situations. Make a decision that you are going to be the master of your thoughts today. You're going to get sober today, sober of mind. All right? Make today the decision. I love this. We show this all the time. Where does the word decide come from? When we burn those boats, we cut off and kill any other option for retreat. Just like other words that end, CIDE, insecticide to kill pests, homicide to kill off a person, germicide to kill off germs. We see it all the time. Are you ready to cut off and kill any other option? So I want you to commit today to emotional sobriety if you're ready, if you want peace of mind, because your life depends on it. And especially if you have children or family, or if you run a business, you lead people, people look up to you. You might put on a good show, but behind the scenes, you're miserable, you're suffering. You don't have community. You don't have connection. And so I'll end it with this. If you truly, truly want a rich life, you might have nice physical riches, monetary riches, but you don't have that inner peace. There is nothing more painful than to work your whole life, serve other people, give, and be empty of purpose and peace. So I wish you all the best of luck. Be sure to watch the replays. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the beautiful Cliona O'Hara. I see a gorgeous green mint shirt on you.
I'm wearing green for, peace of mind. I get into everything's an attitude, and so I have an attitude every time we do these events. What's the theme? What's the feeling, right? Everything that you're teaching. Carla, that was incredible.
Thank you.
Yes, there's so many people I can see in the comments, and congratulations to all of you. You're here. You're moving into part of the 5% possibly in the world that are starting to become consciously aware through the help of people like Carla, who are incredible teachers teaching you about the mind. What you broke down today, I hope that all of you come back, take notes, repeat, because that's when you're going to change the programming and the understanding of the material. Carla, you're amazing. I love your journey. I love working with you. And you did an incredible job today helping everyone. So thank you
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I always say, Carla, there's no one like Carla who can teach the mind, the way she breaks it down. And of course, for those that don't know us, myself, Carla, and our team, many of us came from working with Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor was our mentor. You can see him up here. My gorgeous Bob right here. He'll always be there. He's like looking over my shoulder. And many of you know Bob studied Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. He loved Napoleon Hill. I have my own theories. I have to confirm whether it's true or not. But he loved Napoleon Hill so much. He got 2 little doggies, Bob, and so did Napoleon Hill. He had the same little types of doggies. I don't know if they were Chihuahuas or what breed they were. But I see pictures of Napoleon with his little doggies, and then I see pictures of Bob with the same or similar doggies. So I don't know. That's how much he loved Napoleon Hill. And he studied Think and Grow Rich for 60 years. Have you ever heard? I've spoken to so many people, and I say, have you read Think and Grow Rich? Oh, yeah, I read it 10 years ago. You didn't read it then. See, what I'm obsessed with, and I've come to realize, I'm learning more about me every day. I'm studying me every day. What I'm obsessed with is actually mentorship. It means more to me than money. Mentorship and growth means so much to me. I'm willing to burn all the boats, just like Carla said. I'm willing to make huge decisions, take big leaps in the business for mentorship, because I want to learn from people who have results that I don't have. And I'm not just talking about material results. I'm talking about impact. How have they made an impact in the world? I'm so impressed with leaders who have a heart of service and they've created an impact. I want to be like that. I want to do that. So my decision is to surround myself with people who have done more than me, given more than me, and made a greater impact. Therefore, for example, when we started Napoleon Hill Institute, I pray, I meditate, and I ask God to guide me. I ask Napoleon Hill, Bob, give me some signs, tell me what to do. I'm an immigrant woman from Northern Ireland, became a citizen. How did I end up here? And then I ask, why me? What am I here to do? What is my purpose? And I'm always seeking guidance. And so when Napoleon Hill Institute came back, we brought it back in 2023, January 11, 2023. Then I'm constantly asking for guidance. And when we brought it back, I'm seeking, what is the purpose? What is my purpose? And you watching this, you're a leader deep down. You have to live on purpose, right? You have to live on purpose. So I decided, prayed on it, meditated on it, to surround myself with leaders like David Meltzer, Dr. Joe Vitale, and our incredible team. Oh my God, if you don't know our team, you need to meet them, which you will have the opportunity to when you join one of our programs or you come with us on this retreat, okay? So let me show you a little bit of history. This is an original letterhead from the original Napoleon Hill Institute. And this was written in 1959 by Napoleon Hill. Actually, it was written by Henry Alderfer. Alderfer. He was the educational director. Let me correct that. So he wrote this letter to Napoleon in 1959. So in the 50s, Napoleon created the Napoleon Hill Institute with W. Clement Stone. How many of you know who he is? In the comments, please tell me. He was an insurance superstar, mega superstar. Back then, I think he was worth around $100 million back then. But it was the impact, it was the charity that he did and they did that really, really impressed me. And so that's what we're doing here at Napoleon Hill Institute. And I've been giving it a lot of thought. I have some slides to share with you, but I think Carla did such a great job. I don't even have to do all the work. Yoo-hoo! So I've surrounded myself with the team. And that's in the book, Think and Grow Rich, right? Specialized knowledge. Surround yourself. My team laugh at me and they call me Henry Ford, right? Because specialized knowledge is one of the chapters in Think and Grow Rich. I'm so good at surrounding myself with people who are great at the things I'm not great at. And that's one of the principles of success. Ask yourself right now, be honest, what are you not good at? What are you not good at? And who do you need to surround yourself with in order to go to the next level, right? So that's what I'm really, really good at. I'm good at identifying what I'm not good at. And then I find people who are great at it with specialized knowledge and I surround myself with them. So let's talk about how to grow rich with peace of mind. True leadership, Cliona. Bob Proctor and his teaching are living on. Mac, thank you so much. Thank you. He is, for sure. So I won't get into too much detail here because Carla did an incredible job. I'll just touch upon this. But we humans, we are unlike animals and birds, and they operate from instinct, right? We humans, we operate when we have a purpose and a vision and goals. Purpose, vision, and goals. if we don't have a purpose, and we don't know our purpose, or we're not leaning into it, we're lost in our environment. Okay? That's the first step to growing rich with peace of mind. We can help you discover your purpose if you don't know. Sometimes I can do it in one phone call with someone, and I'm really blessed that I can do that. So navigating your environment with purpose. You need to have a purpose. Then you need a plan, purpose, plan, action. And it's not grinding action. Peace of mind is not getting up and doing 15 hours a day. I did that when I was in healthcare. I was miserable. So action in flow state is what Carla taught you today. It's being in that high vibration. What makes you feel good? Lean into what makes you feel good, folks. So humans, we must have a purpose, vision, purpose, and goals. Then we get a plan, and then we move into action and flow state. This is how I've done everything I've done up until now, and I will continue to do so. Humans must then create via expression. And how do we express? There's energy flowing to and through us. We express our gifts and our talents. So once you figure out what you're great at, it's your duty, your responsibility to give it away, your gifts and your talents. And I understand some of you, you're probably thinking, I'm not sure what my gifts and talents are. I don't know my purpose. Listen, I had dinner last night in New York with 3 executives who you would have thought they're earning multiple 7, 8 figures. You would have thought they knew their purpose, and they didn't. They didn't. And they were scared. Some of them were scared to talk about their real dreams. One of them, I'm not going to mention which bank, but it was a very famous bank, very senior executive at the bank. He wants to write a book, but he's scared to even talk about it. I was shocked. Like, are you kidding me? You're an executive. You're earning this. From the outside, they looked very successful, but they weren't living on purpose. They weren't expressing themselves. And when we are not expressing ourselves, we feel like we're dying. Okay, that's the term you see all over the internet. Do you feel stuck? Right? Are you stuck? Really, that means is you're not expressing your gifts and talents. And when you start to express your gifts and talents, you're living on purpose. And when you're not, what are we doing? We're drifting. Napoleon Hill, we talked about it this week. We become drifters in our environment. We become drifters. The world, the environment dictates what's going to happen in our life. Okay? And if you didn't join the self-discipline camp, you need to get in there now. Okay? There's no excuse. We've seen huge transformations in 30 days. People manifesting and attracting opportunities, multi-million-dollar deals, people going from anxiety to peace of mind in 30 days. And I don't even want to say it, but some people didn't want to live. And now they do. This is the greatest labor of love in the world, what we're doing here. And I will do it for the rest of my life. And I know our team feels the same way. And I know our certified coaches, they feel the same way. They are pure light, and they want to help as many people as possible. So how do we do it? I'm not going to go over this because Carla did an incredible job. We, just as she said, you have to learn to manipulate you, study you, manipulate how you're thinking, feeling, and acting, and then using your 5 senses for you, not against you. Whatever information's coming in, you redirect it, and you command thyself. So Ralph Waldo Emerson, who I love, said, there was never anything that did not proceed from a thought. Think about that. Really, really think about that today. Are you in control of you? And if you're not, then who is or what is, right? So I'm becoming better at, I'm not a master yet, trust me, getting better at it every day, especially when I go to the self-discipline camp. Master thyself and command thyself. This is when you know you are living in discipline. You have discipline. You're able to command thyself. Inner dialogue, actions, thoughts, words. So I love this quote by Napoleon Hill. He says, every seed of adversity carries with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. This is true. I live by it. I put it in my back pocket. I've gone through so much adversity. You don't even know. One day I'm going to tell the whole world how much adversity I've been through, especially even starting this business and being a woman. Who am I to lead the Napoleon Hill Institute, right? In the adversity that I've faced from certain people, things around me about this opportunity, it's been very painful. But I understand this law. I call it a law because it is a law. I understand that something good will come from my adversity. I'm telling you right now, my friends, and I talk to some of the greatest, most brilliant minds. Even I was talking to Matt Higgins recently from Shark Tank. He mentors me, and he agrees with this. He has his own version of this quote, but he also believes with adversity, something equal or even better is coming. So this is another way you can hold your peace of mind, folks. Close the doors to the past, let it go. The past is the past. And then how will you know if you have mastered peace of mind? What's the litmus test? It's so cool. How will you know? You will know when your mind automatically rejects the majority of thoughts, spoken words, and mental imagery that is not of benefit to you or others. Carla is a great example. She was able to describe to you her process. I have my own process, but it does involve my higher self commanding myself. If a thought comes in, I literally become a warrior sometimes inside, and I command it out, reject, replace, or I'll gently let it go. It depends on how I'm feeling, okay? If it's a thought that keeps coming and it's predominant and it's negative, then sometimes I have to have a good talk to myself with a firm tone. And so that's when you know this is becoming automatic. It's becoming part of who you are. It's the new program now of how you operate. Isn't that wonderful? It's so exciting. And then you can move on to greater things. But this is the basics and the basis of the work that we do. We have to help you create automatic responses to any thoughts, feelings, words, mental imagery that is coming into your life that's not helpful to you or others. That's the first step. And so what I discovered in the personal development industry is that everybody's talking about the mind, and they're doing a great job. There's many greats doing this work. And what's missing, I found for myself now leading a company. Last year, I had my own meltdown, not a meltdown, but it was like a moment of, I'm going to burn out. I'm going to burn out. I felt it running the company. I've got 3 kids. I'm an independent mom. I'm running this business and growing a startup all over the world. I felt like I was going to burn out. It was around my birthday last year in April. I went away. I did some healing. I did a silent retreat. And then I went away and I started working on my body. The problem is in this industry, most entrepreneurs and executives, they're not working on I call it the Trinity, the mind, body, and spirit. And what I want to do here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, unless somebody tries to stop me, and even if they do, it's not going to work because I know the truth. I'm like this human experiment. I am experimenting on me for you. I kid you not. I'm literally testing myself. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm even letting myself drift sometimes so I can study myself. And then I'm going to eat certain foods so I can study myself. I'm doing all of this so that I can help you better and also help myself, of course. But I want Napoleon Hill Institute to be the best in the world. So what's missing is the mind, body, and spirit work. It's the three. I love when I worked with Bob Proctor, God bless him, rest in peace. I really believe if he had have worked on his body as well, he'd still be here till today. And I miss him dearly. We all miss him dearly. But he wasn't focused on the body. It was all mental and spiritual, which is so beautiful. We have to have the three in harmony to create peace of mind and balance in your life. You will burn out. You will face challenges if you don't get the three into harmony. All right, we're running out of time. So you must learn how to love your mind, body, and spirit all together. So I want to invite you, if we can just take this down, I'm going to share a different document. I want to invite you to my birthday. I said, how can I help these people? What's the best way to help you now? I've never done this before, but I'm going to do it. You're invited to my birthday and Donovan's birthday in April. We are all going to the most incredible sacred healing retreat next to Cancun, Mexico, in a place called Playa del Carmen. Okay, we're giving you an early bird rate. You're going to get over $500 off, plus $2,000 worth of coaching included if you make a committed decision before Monday. Okay, I want to invite you to my birthday, to the place that I go to heal, to do the inner work, to work on my body. I eat organic food and juices, and we do meditation, we do healing, we study together, we heal together, we rest, we replenish on the shores in the Caribbean of Mexico. It's so beautiful. I have the ability to travel all over the world. I love 5-star, okay? I'm just going to say it. Once you have 5-star, that's it. You don't want to go back. And so I said, how can I find a place where I can heal and I can work on me, do the spiritual work, mind, body, and spirit, but also have luxury? And I found the place. I've been there 7 times personally. Donovan McGrath, who you met this week, the founder of Amplified Yoga, that's where I met him as well. And I have never, I'm telling you right now, no exaggeration, I have never found a place like this. Never. And I have the choice to go anywhere in the world, but I keep going back to Palmaya, the House of Aya. And they've put together this special retreat with us for you. You're going to get 2 months of coaching. You're going to get 5 days, all inclusive, 5-star. This is not for everyone. I understand that, but we'll have something for you if this is not the right fit. But please give yourself the opportunity of healing and working on, this will be the greatest thing you've ever done for yourself. If I keep going back there, there's a reason. There's a real reason, okay? So it's in Palmaya. We will send you all the details. You can book a call or you can just pay for it online. So it's 5-star, all inclusive. You get a private driver. Yes, I'm going to make it very fancy because that's how I roll. Okay. I want you to have a private driver. You're going to have a private concierge for the whole trip. And then we're going to have activities every day from morning till night. We're going to do meditation. We're going to do sound healing. We're going to do movement with Donovan, Amplified Yoga. We're going to study the principles. And we're going to study the principles and learn how to apply them through the body. This place is magnificent. I will always go back here because every time I leave Palmaya, I come back renewed. I come back with ideas that I never thought of because I was on the wrong frequency. It is such a healing vortex. If you're a leader and you want to heal, you want to be around us, there's only 30 spots. We've already given 12 away. So 12 people have already registered. So now we have obviously you need to take action. So I would love for you to come join us. If you're watching this and this is calling to you and this is speaking to you, there's a reason. I will help you. I will even, for some of the guests that are coming, I will create customized recordings for you to listen to at nighttime to help you on your healing journey. This is what I'm about this year. This year, we're going to be focused on the mind, body, and spirit. Here are some pictures of the retreat center. You're in the jungle, yes. It's only 1 hour from Cancun. You'll get your private driver. And the resort is unlike anything I've ever seen. You're by the ocean. It's a healing vortex. So I would love to invite you to my birthday. The greatest gift I can have for my birthday is helping you or helping people experience what I've experienced, to really live with peace of mind, peace in the body, peace in the heart, and peace in the mind. This is the greatest gift we can give to ourselves. And then we can live on purpose and give it away to others. So I'm telling you right now to book a call or just go ahead and sign up. Okay? Take action this weekend. You only have until Monday to make a decision. And if any of this is calling to you, if you feel like you want to be a coach with us, or if you want to come on this retreat first, then you make a decision, book a call, and speak to one of our advisors. I am so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for showing up. And we're so grateful we get the opportunity to serve you. Have a beautiful day. Get in touch with us if you need any help. You know, I really love my life. And if you had have met me maybe 5 years ago, even 4 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. And I can tell you truly from my heart, I've created a life that I've only seen in my dreams, my imagination. When I was a little girl and I was growing up in Northern Ireland and I was in my bedroom, I used to go into my closet and climb in my closet, and I would climb up to the shelf at the top. And no one knew that was my little secret getaway where I would use my imagination and I would draw pictures on the roof. And now I know what I was doing. I was drawing a vision board. And I always had this vision of leaving Northern Ireland, leaving poverty, dysfunction that I grew up in. And so now I'm living the American dream, exactly how I had envisioned it as a little girl. And I can tell you the truth, that after studying these principles that Napoleon Hill has laid out for us, when you study them, you understand them, but most importantly, when you apply them in your life, they will change everything. They'll change the way you think, change the way you feel, change the way you interact with people day to day. I don't worry very much anymore. I don't have much fear in my life. And I know that there's a creative process. And through this material that you're going to study with us, you can literally design the life that you want. And so as a coach, I started my coaching business in my 30s, and I just had a baby. It was my third child, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. But I knew that I had to serve. I knew that this material and personal development had changed my life so dramatically that I felt a complete responsibility that I have to get this out and share this with the world. Why are so many people suffering? Why are so many people drifting? No money, stressed, struggling, and no direction in their life. And so I've decided to dedicate the rest of my life, and I'll do it for the rest of my life, to get these principles out there. Now, as a coach, I own a coaching company. I'm part of the Napoleon Hill Institute. We're leading the way. We're certifying and training coaches all over the world so that they can bring this material out into the masses, so we can change lives. People can live happier, healthier, wealthier.